Okay, we're here with IFBB Pro Derik Farnsworth, who just got done beating us up. And from what we could read online, he's very popular with other bodybuilding pros and physique and figure in massage and therapy. So I'd just like to thank you for the opportunity to have the interview.
My pleasure.
And ask you, how did you get into the massage and ART type stuff, and why have you become so popular? What made you start in that?
So I've been doing this for 27 years now, training bodybuilding and all that. So back home, we all get injuries, right? And I always, like, when you talk to Chris and talk to some of my people, I find that way to fix something. Like, that's the type of things like, you zone in and say, I'm going to become the best at something. And I'm on the internet, I'm on this, trying to figure it out. Not so much scientific, but why is that happening,
Mm-hmm.
So I knew that I wasn't going to be the biggest bodybuilder in the world, but I had to be the roundest and the shapiest. So I'm in art school, and I look at the body as a sculpture, so I look at it from three-dimensional. So I'm looking at certain angles, I'm like, why is my tricep not as round as this one? So massage therapy popped into me. So I started seeing this girl every 4 weeks, big girl would just beat me up, and started seeing I'm not getting hurt. My back would feel better. I wouldn't wake up as achy. And I'd be like rounded than this person, rounded that person. So it's always stayed with me since I was 21 years old is when I started doing the therapy. And now I'm 43. So I've done it for that long myself. And as I went through, it was like, that was the biggest difference I noticed, where you guys aren't growing, but I am. I'm not training heavier, I'm not doing it, but my muscles are always, you always have great shape. And it was with her. So I would do that a lot back home. She was, she wasn't bad what she did, but when I moved to San Diego almost 14 years ago, I met this one guy. Again, I had to find a therapist, and he's my Yoda. He's like my Mr. Miyagi. He's been doing it right now for about 27 years, and he knows when he works on me, we shape the muscle. So we connected right away. As I would go see him, I started learning about my body. Like, when you do a shoulder press and you get a kink right here, it's this. Because I probably had the injury myself, and I'd go, you have this, go see your therapist. Or go see Jeff, tell him I think it's your blah, blah, blah. I'd say, can you do me a favor? Will you tell me if it's right or not? And they come back and say, Derik said it's exactly what you said, it was this. So now we know bodybuilding, we know how the muscles worked. I always knew, don't do that because that makes my trap tight. Don't do that because that makes this tight. Because I would learn from, if I do upright rows this way for 5 weeks, Jeff's always fixing my neck. If I do them this way, he wasn't fixing my neck. So I figured whatever I'm doing there is causing a problem. So that's like, biomechanics and learning how your body works. So as I kept doing, I kept sending all these people to him for money. And I'm like, I'm training him, he's getting paid, because if he doesn't fix him, I don't get paid. So then I said I should go to massage school. So I went to school for it. And as I was there, I started seeing ART, which was like more of like bodybuilding type. It's because we goes through the motion. So active release on a layman's term to me is massage with motion. And that's how, when we learn, we don't sit down and say my back hurts. We sit down, our back hurts when we reach for something. Or like a baseball player throws the ball, it's always the last release is that last 10%. So you think of physical therapy is what they always go for, right? So you think of massage therapy with physical therapy. Get the muscle to move back to what it used to do. Mm-hmm. So I understood that. I'm thinking, like, when you do certain moves, mimic what you do for back. If you're doing a row and that's where it hurts, find where it catches, So that's how I got intrigued by ART. And, there's not many therapists who do what we do. A lot of therapists won't work on the big guys because it's work. I can work on a little 100-pound girl and get paid the same I work on a 300-pound guy. Which one are you going to do? But the 300-pound guy interests me. Mm-hmm. The girl comes in with the trap that's higher than the other one. It is interesting because it's what we do. And it's nothing better to say, go back and train, and the pain's gone. Or if her back is narrow, and we open her back up. And that's the biggest thing, too, is a lot of people come to me and talk about popularities because it's not always about fixing the person. It's saying, my legs aren't as round as they could be. If we open up the fascia on the muscle will expand. So I always tell someone, like, when your mom made you a sandwich, and she wrapped it in saran wrap. Mm-hmm. Well, the sandwich is this big. When you wrap it in saran wrap too tight, what's it do? It shrinks. So I tell someone, when you train too hard, the muscles wrap too tight. If we open the muscle up, the muscle can expand. And then it starts getting shapier and rounder. And that's how it gets to be body shaping. Yeah, and that's why, like, this weekend we're here, I'm not beating these guys up. Everyone watches the video of what they're doing. These guys are getting 20% of what I do. We're shaping the muscle, bringing out that last little detail. And it's like if that delta's in this thing, we're going to bring it out and not cause any inflammation on the muscle. So
yeah, that's what you read online that you maybe people don't understand that you say, oh, I want to see Derik, he's going to open up my lats, mm-hmm. and they're going to be an inch wider, mm-hmm. or whatever.
Yep.
And people think, how is that possible? A muscle is still a muscle.
Yep.
But
it's shorter. You gotta think like every muscle is like a rubber band, right? It goes all the way out, comes in, but if it gets a knot, it gets shorter, and everything comes in. That's why they walk on like this. You should be able to open up, you know, and that's where, like, we talked about stretching today, and, like, you know, these guys don't stretch, you know, and that's the thing is, as I get older, my therapy has doubled. I used to go 4 weeks out, every 4 weeks when I was 22. I'm 43, I go every 2 weeks. I've doubled my therapy because I don't recover as fast as I used to, you know, and, like, guys like Tony Freeman, Tricky Jackson, those guys are over 40 years old, and they're still banging it hard. They're doing extra stuff. I know that Tony does everything he could to make himself better. Jay is 40 now. Jay gets therapy 3 times a week because he knows to be the best and to keep his body healthy and work at that max level, he's going to, like, he, you know, Jay let me work on him as one of the first guys to let me work on him, and he's one of the best in the world. So that's kind of where the popularity came is, if Jay lets me work on him, then why shouldn't I let him work on him? And that's because also he's my friend, and he knew I was passionate about it, and he gave me a shot, and he says, you know, you're really good, and, you know, it would help me plug in and all that as a friend, you know, and, but, you know, like, I'm here this weekend, and I hope to get to work on him, and, you know, it's the passion we have for bodybuilding, it carried over to massage, because, you know, it's like, that leg isn't big enough, I'm going to make that leg bigger. And it's like, cool, I can do what we do in the gym in an hour. I can make that leg bigger in an hour that you can't do in the gym 5 days a week. And I know how bad you want that 1 inch, and I can give to someone. So it's really cool. So it's not always about, the money is, you know, of course you want to make money, but if I can do this all day, give it to me. You know, bring me 10 guys. And people say, how do you do it? Because it's fun. I watch someone's face light up, going, look at my legs, you know, and it's like me going, I know, right?
It's instant gratification.
Yeah, because I've had it done. I get off the table and I look at my guys, I'm like, wow. And then I get to pass it on, and I love it. I love watching, like, look at your back now, it's open. And you're walking down the hallway, and you're not walking like this. You're walking like, you know, you watch a girl walk out the door. I had a girl with whiplash. And, you know, the chiropractor couldn't fix it. The physical therapy couldn't fix it. You know, these doctors come to me, and I work on them for 10 minutes, and we figure out the problem. I think that's, like, the biggest rush is that, you know, bodybuilders know bodybuilders. We know what causes it. It's like, they come in and say, you're doing this, stop doing this move. And then I hear months later, Derik, I stopped doing it. I haven't had pain since. That's like the biggest rush of, you know what you're doing, and it gives you the biggest gratification for stuff.
Obviously, it's going to be all over the world, and not a lot of people can get to you. What would you recommend for maybe like a self-therapy, maybe like rolling or foam rolling or stretching or whatever? We just saw a video of Jay rolling on his hamstring, which you was supposed to have made for him, and it's probably a lot harder than a normal.
It's the same as the one we're doing today. It's the black pipe. Don't use PVC. PVC is toxic to our skin, so it's that black piping that people have in the house. You roll on it. You know, you've had me work with you, right? How bad it feel? That pipe is as hard as me. But now you get to control how much gets in there.
So should the roller surface be as hard as possible?
Well, only condition. If you're going to work on someone like a Jay, he's so big, he needs more therapy. If I put a 110-pound girl on that, she could probably get away with a foam roller, but as she gets more muscle, or it gets harder, we need to get something that's in deeper. That's like soft tissue massage versus deep tissue. That the elbow goes in deeper with more pressure, and then the lighter one, like, you know, relaxing massage, I'd go on the roller. The foam, because I don't need to get deep. I'm just trying to take some tension off that top layer of muscle. But you gotta remember, you have like traps, rhomboids, and then your spinalis muscles, you know. So you got 3 layers. If I have to get to there, I gotta get some deep stuff in. But if this top layer is just a little stiff from stress, I may just do a nice light massage and like just take some tension. But if you know you have a muscular pump, you gotta get down to the deep one, and that's why people say, "Oh, it hurts." Well, I didn't hurt you when you walked in the door. If you don't have a pain, I should be able to work on you. It should be butter. It should be nice and soft. But if you have a damage, you damage yourself. I didn't damage you. I'm trying to take the damage out. So I tell someone, give me 1 hour of pain for weeks of no pain. Because you're walking around every day and you can't sleep on your shoulder because it hurts. And you go week after week after week and it gets worse. And then what happens? You come in for an hour and you complain for 1 hour. But give me 1 hour to fix you, and you get off the table and go, oh my God, that thing is gone. Now, it's free. Go stretch. Go home, stretch out every day, because something locked up. What you did was you didn't stretch and you overtrained the muscle. Now, start your own therapy. Every day, do your little stretches. And I wouldn't tell someone, you got to go to yoga. Look up scapula stretches. Look up calf stretches. If it's a calf, it should be 2 or 3 stretches. Do them every day. Every time you do cardio, do your stretches. Because that way you don't pay me. And I tell someone, like, wouldn't it be great to be able to work on yourself and then say, hey, Derik, can I get a tune-up? Come in and, you know, you're here. Now you can get to here. And even more so, now we're starting to work on you, instead of like fixing you, we're shaping your muscles. So now your body's working great. Like, you go to the garage for a tune-up. Your car runs great. We're going to put some nice new oil in there, clean everything out. It's going to run even better, right? And you're putting new components on it, but you're keeping everything else running fine. But if you're pulling into the garage and you're leaking oil and the pistons are bad and this and that, you keep fixing things. That engine's never going to get to the way you want to get it to. This is a car that's like every day. We're not cars like every day. We're race cars. We're the ones who, we're changing the components every day. We're racing it down the track. We want it to go 5 miles an hour faster. We want to get 3 seconds off the time. We don't want to just putt around town, you know. Excuse me, go ahead. Oh shoot, Dennis is here. Let me take this.
So what about you as a race car? When is your next show? You competed in July. What's next for you as a competitor?
I'll get the schedule on hopefully December, and then I just kind of pick from there. I talked to Chris, and then I checked my own life like that. So like, I mean, like I said, I went to Olympia last year, and that was like, the ghost is off I'm not chasing that ghost anymore. The monkey's off the back of that long-lived dream. So do I want to go back to Olympia? Absolutely. But I'm not going to kill myself to get there, because I've done it. Like, I've been to the Super Bowl before, and I'm like, okay, I did it. I'm realistic that, you know, the top 5 guys are unattainable at my age. You know, those guys are a little bit like 30, 35s. You know, and can I do it if I want to? But it's not. It's never been my ending goal to be number one, because I knew that my stature was going to be against me, my weight's going to be against me. You know what I mean? I'm a smaller guy. But if I can hang with those guys at all, that was the biggest thing. You know, it was 11th place last year. I was fine, because I was never supposed to be on that stage when I turned pro. Like, never going to be on the Olympic stage. You know, and so I went, and now it's more like, goddamn, you know, we did it. And then this year, I did one show. I knew I had one shot, and I trained like to win. And I was hoping another show would pop up. It didn't, but we always train to win. Next year, if it's, you know, the shows work out great, I'll do 3 shows as long as it fits into my schedule. And that's where I think people lose it. Bodybuilding's a hobby. It doesn't pay my bills. It makes me very happy. Like, massage pays my bills. My training business pays my bills. But the shows is what keeps me kind of sane, you know. And I know it sounds crazy when you're doing it, but it keeps me sane as in, if doing 2 shows is fun, maybe it's in Florida and I want to go to Florida. Maybe it's in, you know, Vancouver, I want to go there. Maybe it's in England. You know, it keeps it fun because I'm seeing the world, doing something I love. So that's what it comes down to as far as what you want to do, you know?
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much for this interview
No
and
problem.
working on us. Thank you very much.
No problem. Thank you.
From Vegas with Derik.